Okay, we're going to make chicken mole on the grill. And the first step is to make the mole sauce. And the first step of the mole sauce is the chilies. So we have 3 or 4 types of chilies here. Pasilla, Guajillo, California, New Mexico. Um, okay, here are the California. We'll start with the important ones. These are the Pasilla. And oh, they have a smell. It's going to sound funny, but they kind of smell like dried plums. They have this kind of rich, fruity sort of smell, and they're kind of medium spicy. These are kind of the main chilies that you want to put in mole. So you're all going to go and put them into hot water for 15, 20 minutes or so. Here we have the California red chilies. These are like a New Mexico chili, not maybe a little milder. They have good color, good flavor. They're mild. They're not really hot. Same thing in the water. And then here we have a couple just for kind of variety to make it more kind of complex. We have Guajillo chilies. These are a little warmer. They have thicker skins and they also are a deep red color. So all these are going to go into the water for realistically half an hour because the Guajillo, they have thick skins and they need to soak a little bit longer. So we're going to let all these guys soak for half an hour. And in the meantime, we'll start chopping up some onions. Okay, our onions are chopped up, but before we throw them in the pan, we want to take a couple, 3 small corn tortillas and heat them up in a frying pan. No oil. We just want to get where it's going to basically toast them in there to where they're kind of dry and almost a little crunchy. All right, the tortillas are done. They're crispy. They're a little charred, which actually is a good thing. You can also just throw them right on the burner if you want to get some really quick char on them. So they're really warm. We're going to take these and put these aside. Put a little olive oil in the pan, which is already hot, and in go the onions. Okay. So we're going to saute the onions for 4 or 5 minutes till they're not really brown and really cooked, but till they're translucent and about halfway cooked. When the onions are about halfway done, you want to add a couple cloves worth of minced garlic. And a little salt for flavor. And we're going to let this go probably 3 more minutes or so, 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, the onions and garlic are done. The chilies are done soaking. We have our crispy tortillas here. So what we're going to do is put it all into a blender. Onions. Let me get all of that. Okay, our tortillas. Kind of crunch these up a little bit. Sometimes they use crackers, wheat crackers, which are fine. But this kind of, the charred corn adds kind of an interesting flavor. I just think I don't know if it's more authentic or not, but I like it. And I've seen other people do it and I like it. Okay, the chilies. The Anaheim ones, tear these up. The Guajillo, again, a little thicker, tougher there. And then all the pasillas, which are basically, they say pasilla ancho, which is kind of confusing because they're not this, they're similar but not the same. But ancho also means wide, so these are like wide pasilla chilies. Put all those things in there, and then of course we got the secret ingredient here, peanut butter. So a couple tablespoons, this is natural peanut butter, a big glob of this. Let's call that 1. Let's call that 2. Come on up. Okay. And to that, we're going to add a couple cups of chicken stock. All right. Then we're going to basically puree the heck out of it. All right, this is all nice and blended up, pureed. We'll taste. No, that's good. It's a little warm. That's okay though, because it will mellow out when we cook it down. So we're going to pour all of this into a kind of a medium-sized pot. I'll scrape the rest of that out later. And get that going. And we're going to add one of the other secret ingredients. So the cooking part, this is where you want to kind of season it as it cooks. One of the things we're going to add, the main thing we're going to add is Mexican chocolate. You can use, this is abuelita, or you could use Ibarra. There's several different types. It's all about the same. They're all the same size. Each little disc is about 3 ounces of chocolate with sugar and some other spices. And we're going to cut this up just so it'll dissolve a little easier. This makes great hot chocolate, like the world's best hot chocolate. Mexican hot chocolate made with these things. You can't really eat it like a candy bar because the sugar is not dissolved. So this whole thing is really kind of granular, although it tastes great. Anyways, so we're going to add this to our mole. Let that get going. Keep this going. You're going to want to cook this for maybe half an hour. That will all dissolve, the chocolate will dissolve, and then you can taste it. You can't really taste it now, but what we're going to add to this is where you add the spices, really. For sure, I'm going to put in cumin. Absolutely. My dad used to call cumin culinary cocaine. He cooked it, he put it in everything. Chili powder, maybe, depending on how much of the chili flavor is still left. A little dash of ground cinnamon, not a whole lot. Basil, it's a traditional spice for mole. Maybe a little bit of ground ginger, if it kind of seems like it needs to be kind of waking up a little bit. Salt and brown sugar. Yeah, there is sugar in the chocolate. Mole is typically kind of sweet, not sweet like a real sweet chili sauce or a real sweet barbecue sauce, but mole definitely has some sweet to it. Absolutely. Right now, it doesn't really have any sweet to it. So the sugar in the chocolate will add some, and if it needs more, brown sugar is the best way to go. So we're going to let this cook for about half an hour, give it a taste, and see what it needs. Okay, this has been cooking for a while now, 45 minutes or so. As you can tell, it's just a lot darker. You can see that kind of the dark brown and the red colors are coming out of the chilies and out of the chocolate, and have a little taste and see where we are. Oh, that's pretty close. That's pretty good. It's not nearly as hot. It's at all. In fact, I'm going to put some chili powder in, which actually, I think the first ingredient is probably salt. Well, chili pepper, salt, cumin, oregano, garlic. All right, a little bit of that. I definitely want some cumin. Yeah, I love cumin in there. A little bit of cinnamon. Cinnamon will bring out kind of that Mexican chocolate flavor. Not too much, but a little bit will bring that out. Basil for sure. It's a kind of traditional mole thing. Some people even put the basil in the blender and blend it up, but I'm okay if it kind of stays whole. And just a little bit of ginger will kind of brighten it up a little bit. Yeah. Sugar. It's pretty sweet. It's not super sweet. And maybe I think I'll add a little brown sugar to it. Sometimes people will add banana to mole just to sweeten it up. And I kind of get that. Sweeten it up, make it taste a little fruity, kind of like some barbecue sauces are fruity. That should be enough. Okay, so stir all this in. We're close. I mean, there's always you always make some little last minute adjustments. Oh, and it needed a little bit of salt. Not much. What is that? Quarter teaspoon? Okay. There we go. Put it in. Let's clean spoon, see where we are. Yeah. Yeah, that's tasting like mole now. Okay, so we're going to let this sit. Turn it off. And start thinking about what we want to do with our rice. Okay, for the rice, we're going to make a chili rice in the Instapot, kind of a green chili rice. So, a cup of rice, and I'm using the basmati, kind of the long grain stuff. Cup and a half of water. So it's kind of in between the 1-to-1 sticky rice and the 2-to-1 dry rice. It's kind of in between. It makes it not sticky, but kind of moist. A can of Ortega fire roasted diced green chilies. These are just typical Ortega mild chilies diced up. They've been drained. We don't need the extra liquid. A can of those guys. A very precise amount of salsa verde. That's about enough. Little shot of salt. Shot of olive oil. Keep it nice and moist. And right, hit the rice button, and we're off to the races. Okay, to start the grilled corn, they've been husked and cleaned and everything. We're going to put them into a kettle of warm water and let them, soak for just a minute or two. Okay, they've been soaking for a few minutes. I actually put a little bowl on top of them to keep them under. So then we're going to take them out, drain them. We have 4 pieces of aluminum here. We're going to butter them. You don't have to get real precise here because this butter is going to melt on the grill. And salt, pepper, each one of these babies, and then in this little package of aluminum, roll it up, and do the next one until all 4 of these things are wrapped up like a little aluminum foiled corn burrito. The idea is that the water that was in there when we soaked it kind of soaks into the cob, and so it kind of steams a little bit on the grill. And of course the butter melts and the salt and pepper kind of get in there, and it's really good when it's done. Okay, my secret, if there is a secret, and I don't think there is, to doing this on the grill is a pan, a little half-size warming aluminum pan, and some kind of spray oil. This isn't for the food, I wouldn't, but this is for the grill. Keep it from sticking. All right, so chicken in the pan. And then, looking at kind of the obvious stuff, a little salt, lemon pepper, and then the good stuff. Actually, a little curry powder. Yeah, that kind of does something to kind of wake it up. And cumin, of course. Gotta have cumin. It's actually a fair amount of chicken. I don't know what this is, 4 or 5 pounds of chicken. So a little chili powder to let you know you're alive. And then 2 things you might not expect, but one is a little bit of cinnamon. I don't know what it does. I think when I was a kid, my parents used to put cinnamon. They used to shake it up in a bag on their chicken, and I really liked it. I guess it's just in my blood. And then again, a little ground ginger. Yeah. And we may want to add more salt later on. But so we do this, and we get this kind of covered in all these spices, and then we're going to throw the pan onto 1/2 of the barbecue and kind of get this stuff warmed up before we pour it over to the grill. Pull it over to the grill, because if you just take chicken, you throw it right on the grill, it could be okay. But if they're pretty good sized chunks, you end up having to kind of overcook the outside to get the inside done. Of course, you don't do chicken, you never do chicken rare or anything, so you gotta make sure it's done all the way through. So these are actually, cumin. These are actually boneless, skinless thighs. You typically, with mole, you'd use chicken breasts, which are great, and thighs can be kind of fatty and greasy and everything, but these have no skin on them, so you lose a lot of the fat, and there's no bone in here, so you can just put them on your plate and eat them with no problems. But they have a little bit more flavor than a chicken breast, and they're less dry, so it's kind of in between. And these are pretty good sized pieces, so if we take these and we heat them up in the pan first on the grill, this is as big as a chicken breast. And if you heat that up on the grill first, just 10 minutes or so, kind of stir them around. They kind of marinate in all the spices, and then you pull them over to the hot grill. Boy, you just get the outside done, and then you just pull them back into the pan and carry them inside. It works really well, and they come out juicy and not as dry as if they're just completely done on the grill. And of course, at the same time, we'll throw the corn on. So let's head out there. So first thing we do is we just put that right there on the fire and get the corn started. And we'll kind of keep an eye on the corn, and it's going to need about 15 minutes altogether, and we'll rotate it every 3 or 4 minutes just to make sure it cooks evenly all the way around. And we'll come out here and check on the chicken, every few minutes. Again, just to kind of warm that up and kind of preheat it so you don't overdo the outside and leave the inside underdone. I'll close that down, back this down a little bit to about halfway. Let that sit for a minute. Okay, so the chicken's been on here for 10 minutes or so. So it's about halfway done. So we're just gonna pull it off. Oh, sorry, my secret is this. Keeps it from sticking. We're going to pull it off onto the grill. So here we have the chicken is all done, back in the pan, and the corn is done, back in the pan, ready to bring it inside. Okay, so there you have it. We've got the rice with the chilies cooked up in it, and we've got the corn, which is finished on the grill, and we've got the chicken, the grilled chicken, and then we put the mole sauce over the chicken, and then top that off with little sesame seeds, maybe a little salad on the side, maybe your favorite drink. And there you go. All right. Thanks a lot.